Bodybuilding over the years has evolved in many ways. The sport of bodybuilding has been around for a long time, but the actual act of it has been around for a lot longer. First, what is bodybuilding? According to the little side panel when you look up bodybuilding, it states, bodybuilding is the practice of progressive resistance exercise to build, control, and develop one's muscles via hypertrophy. I wouldn't class myself as a bodybuilder, but I do go to the gym frequently and try to build my body. So I guess I'm on the right track, I don't know. Are the old routines back in the day better than the scientifically driven routines that a lot of people have now today? Because they were a lot more simple and they targeted everything you need and they worked just fine. Are they harder? Do they give a better pump feeling? This week I am going to find out. I want to slightly review over the eras of bodybuilding and try the preferred workout routines to put them to the test. So where does that begin? Well, let's get started. According to David Robson on bodybuilding.com, took me a while to find that source. It appears that the sport of bodybuilding first came around when Eugene, the father of bodybuilding, Sandow, organized the first bodybuilding competition in 1901. This was called the Great Competition. Have you seen the Mr. Olympia statue? Yes, that is him. Pretty important fella, but I want to take it back even further. Egypt and Greece were known to have people that admire to be stronger than the others they surround themselves with. They focused on pure power and strength training with stones.
Big rocks, small rock, Dwayne the Rock. Greece was the first to idolize having big muscles, as you can tell by most statues that they crafted back in the day. Fellas back then had big muscles. India later on created the first stone dumbbell known to man called nulls. Like other societies, they also went to the gym to make obstacles that they had in life easier by strength training and strength training. People in India loved going to the gym so much that it later on became their favorite national pastime. Wow. So I actually found a book that was published in 1537 by Sir Thomas Eliot.
Not this Thomas Eliot, it is this Thomas Eliot. I thought that name sounded familiar.
And this has given us the sauce on what people back then used to do to get jacked. So let's dive in. There are some things that I'm not gonna do because of obvious reasons, but I'm gonna try to grab a good amount of them and try my best to compare and see how they hold up to today's standards. I also tried to pick ones that I don't do very often, like throwing a spear. I don't throw spears that often. This is what their split looked like back then. Remember, this is 1537. It looks like they had shoulders, arms, and legs all in one day, which is pretty normal. Then they have chest and lungs day. Still do that, no. This included singing, crying, reading very loud, one fish, two fish, red fish, blue fish, black fish, blue fish, old fish, new fish, and that's it. That's what they would do on a normal Tuesday to get fit. Third day, they had intestines day, which is basically playing an old version of the trombone. So we can give it a shot. Today what we're gonna try is throwing of the long dart, which is a spear basically. And I don't have a spear, but I do have a staff that will work as a spear, just doesn't have the spear part, which is probably good so I don't stab any people walking or anything. We're gonna read very loud to help with our lungs. We're gonna sing to help with our lungs. We're gonna run to help with legs, cardio, lungs, and yeah, we're gonna give it a go. So this is gonna be my spear for the day. As you can tell, it does not have like a stone or anything on the end, but we don't need that. I got this at a Renaissance festival and it'll do. All right, let's get to throwing. First throw. Didn't go very far. It don't stay straight very much. All right, you wanna give it a shot? Oh yeah, we working today, boys. I'm pretty sure Ronnie Coleman used to throw spears in his pastime. Not bad, it actually, it stayed straight for quite a while.
Chat, is this real? All right, well, I guess this is how we do it.
Yay, yippee! You know, I'm not gonna lie, the first day I met you, I didn't think we would be by a river throwing a staff. This time I'm gonna throw it straight up, and I'm gonna try not to hit pedestrians. It goes behind and lands right in your windshield. That's my goal. Kinda creepy looking at it. Oh my God. Listen, on camera, it probably don't look that hard. It's pretty hard. All right, I'm gonna do one more good throw, and then we'll be moving on to crying. Yes, yes, yes. I should just... All right, this time I'm not gonna go for strength. I'm just gonna go strictly form. Oh, shit. All right, that's enough. Enough whacking off. Turn the car around. Or I'm gonna whip my horse. It's cold outside, brother. Can you start the carriage? So we finished the 1500s and 1600s era of bodybuilding. And I hate to admit it, but I don't feel like I built my body at all. If anything, probably tore my shoulder a little bit. It doesn't hurt, but if I were to throw spears often, I feel like it would hurt after a while. It was fun. I mean, it's goofy. The drip is awesome. Don't let your girlfriend see this video, that's for damn sure. If I were to rate it, I'd rate it maybe like a 1 out of 10. I'll rate it a 1 sword fight. That sounded a little sussy. 1 spear thrown at my cameraman on accident out of 10. Huh? Just because pump was a 0. The run was, I mean, running's all right. Spear throw was actually pretty fun. I mean, gotta love throwing a spear, but I didn't have an actual spear. So that kind of takes off some points, but yeah, I'd rate it 1 out of 10. After the 16th century, there was a slow upbringing of the idea to work out not just for strength, but also build muscle, look lean, look good. Slowly, bodybuilding started to come into picture. This is whenever we were introduced to the early period. This lasted from 1890 to 1929.
Take me back to old Yazoo. Everything up here is new.
The only thing that I like doing more than going to the gym is beating my wife. I can't put that in. The early period started off when Europeans chose a new path from what the Egyptians, Indians, and Greeks decided to do. The Europeans decided to hit the weights strictly for entertainment purposes. This later turned into the famous strongman competition. This blew up and people from all over the country traveled to watch it. They used to not only lift heavy stones, but carts, animals, and really anything heavy. Overweight looking strongmen Yo mama. Overweight looking strongmen were the bananas back in the day, until Eugene Sandow came in a picture and changed that. People wanted to look chiseled and shredded, not all big and strong. Eugene influenced people to buy barbells and dumbbells for their own and work on self-improvement to become chiseled, strong, and aesthetically pleasing. Bodybuilding was in full effect now. Today we're gonna do a simple workout that me and my people do all the time. See? I'm thinking maybe some pull-ups, some heavy lifting, some abdominal crunches, because as you can see, my belly is looking kind of bloated, and we're gonna sweat and feel good.
Beans and rice, get your rice and beans.
As you can tell, I'm wearing my best gym attire that we had. Just came out of working in the factory, here to get some lifts before my son gets off work. My son is 9 years old and he's been working since 12 a.m. yesterday. So let's get to work. Alright, that's enough of that.
Yazoo, yazoo, yazoo.
See? Dude, I'm not feeling strong. That feels terrible standing up. Just like straight back pain. In the 30s, they didn't care about back pain. They did stuff like rows, and like pretty much just basic workout stuff. But obviously I'm not trying to do that because everybody does that nowadays. I looked at a actual workout plan from the 30s,
and they had a lot of the same stuff. Mainly with dumbbells, they didn't really have they didn't use machines that much other than like leg extensions and like the basic stuff. Very dumbbell heavy stuff. Dumbbells, not really much barbell, because our boy Eugene is what really put barbells on the map and everybody having dumbbells. But for gyms that had dumbbells, that's what they're doing. But for actual like competition, we're talking animals. We're talking carts. We're talking stones. I'm not gonna lie, we still do kettlebell swings. I think it's kind of a mid exercise, but that's just me. God, I want a cigarette. I don't think I could do a handstand. Oh my God. Yeah, that's tiring. All the blood. I could feel my ears start like giving out. Joe, I can't hear you, man. I also watched a 30s video of women stretching. Stretching was a big part of the 30s. Pause, it wasn't like that. It was the first video that popped up, I swear. They were doing classic, you know, arm circles, toe touches. Dude, my hamstrings are about to bust out of my legs. But, so people in the 30s, they went through a lot. They had the Great Depression, they had the war, beginning of the war. So their workouts, do they reflect how strong times were back in the day? That's such a terrible like transition. I would say they're about the same. Pretty much it's like today's workouts, but without all the machines. They're more into dumbbell work, cable work, definitely into stretching. Yoga was big, which this is a nice change up from how things were. You know, we were worried about strongmen and everyone being able to lift the most weight, but now people are starting to actually stretch and use other muscles other than legs, arms, push, pull movements. So it was a nice switch up of things. Whenever Eugene Sandow became a big part of the mix, that's whenever bodybuilding and getting lean and chiseled started to actually get into motion. The 30s, this was the beginning of it. After this, there's the gold era, silver era, and that's what we're most familiar with today. See?
So we're back here. I only recorded 2 workouts because after that, there really isn't much change to what we do now. I said in the video that they use a little bit more machine work. Bunny, that's me. They used more machine work after the 30s and going into the 50s and 60s near the silver and gold age. And not a lot has really changed other than, you know, nowadays we have a lot more specific machines like the 3D Smith machine or like a glute bridge machine and just stuff like that. We have pretty much everything nowadays. So I wasn't gonna just record me working out because it doesn't really add that much to the history that people don't know about. So I just recorded that. I really wanted to focus on the beginning, the middle, and the current state that we're in right now. So were the workouts good? Now, whenever we go back to the 1500s and 1600s, no, not at all. But for that time being, for what they were training for, it was beneficial to them back then. But in the sense of bodybuilding, it doesn't really help anything, really. Obviously, it helps to be active, and that helps tone up muscles and build muscles, but specifically for bodybuilding, it don't really help at all. I also was gonna do a segment where I was gonna go out and lift stones and stuff, but it's like, what am I gonna do? You know, just find some stones and kind of toss them around. I mean, I could, but I didn't. You know, they would push carts full of stones and stuff because, you know, they obviously had to do activities that require to have strength like that. Yeah, that's why they did it, and that's why it worked for them. Nowadays, we have people that, you know, are competing, and of course during, you know, the 70s and around that era, we introduced anabolic steroids, which I did not partake in for this video. Thought about it, didn't do it. Yeah, I mean, it kind of progressed pretty naturally. There wasn't really one period where stuff just took off, other than in between like the 1600s and the 1900s. Like, so around the 1800s, you know, we developed actually machines versus just natural stuff. And we can give thanks to India for that because they created nals. Like I said back then, you know, the first dumbbells, those were pretty big. India loved going to the gym. It was their national pastime. I feel like a lot of people don't talk about India when it comes to bodybuilding, but really they didn't pave the way, but they definitely helped. It was fun doing the first workout routines just because they're so outlandish. Yeah, it's crazy to see how bodybuilding has changed and progressed over the years, and it was fun. Let me know in the comments what era you think was the best. Do you think it's the pre-bronze era? Do you think it was the bronze era? Do you think silver and gold and the stuff we didn't really touch that much on, but I mean, you guys know all about it? Or do you think the C-bum era is the best? Let me know what you guys think if I gave these eras justice. If you think I could have been one of the top athletes back in the day. Well, I already know you're gonna say yes, so pretty much just tell me why in a couple of sentences on why you think that would be the best athlete, and I'll reach back to you in the comment section. Thank you. Thanks for watching. I have started back up my Patreon, so if you guys want to go subscribe to that. We are watching Avatar right now. It will probably be done within the next week or two, and it will be up on my Patreon. If you subscribe to my Patreon, thank you. You will pop up on the screen in the next video, and goodbye.
You ever heard of Marvel Entertainment? Yeah, we're with them. India later on created the first dumbbell. Dumbbell. So popular that fuck.